Welcome back to the Naked Proverbs podcast, where we unclothe the truth about Black love, family, and marriage. My name is Nik Scott, one of your hosts, and as always, I'm here with my husband.
What's going on? It's your boy Rich, and today we are going to talk about a weekend of love.
Right at the start of every episode, we always remind our listeners that we are not trained, licensed, or professional therapists or counselors. We've been married quite a while, and we use Naked Proverbs as our platform to share our advice, our experience, our stories, and, of course, our opinions. If you haven't already, make sure you're following the Naked Proverbs on whatever platform you listen to your podcasts on. And if you like what you hear, show us your love and support by giving us a 5-star rating on iTunes or whatever platform you're currently listening on.
This previous weekend pushed me outside of my norm. For years, we have spent our Valentine's weekend or day or whatever it is together at home. We've made it a habit not to go out, and we've had some great times, from cooking lamb together to watching movies to just enjoying each other. But this past weekend
was ridiculous. I don't know who filled up our calendar like that. It was fun. Right? It was super fun on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and today. We have stuff to do.
And we got it in.
But I'm still sleepy.
Let's see. The first night, we didn't even start our adventure until way after my bedtime.
So we have friends of various ages, and this couple invited us out to what was called the Love Jones experience.
You got to say it right. It was the Love Jones experience.
Whatever.
Y'all, I'm just going to put this out there. She is not a believer of Love Jones, so don't hold it against my wonderful wife, but I'm just putting that out there.
It's a solid C- movie.
Okay. Anyway, that's not what we're even talking about.
It's not, but you got off topic, so I had to get off topic. Now we're going to get back on topic.
Okay.
So we went to the Love Jones experience downtown Denver, and it started at 9:00 at night. And I remember when we were invited and I looked at the time that the thing started, because I'm thinking maybe it starts at 7, going to listen to some live music and some spoken word poetry. 9:00, this thing started.
Yeah, that's late, y'all. I don't know if y'all have heard me in the past say I go to bed about 8:00.
6:30.
Well, that's when I'm real tired, but normally
6:30.
Okay, well, so the point is, this was way after my bedtime, whether it's 6:30 or 8:00, doesn't matter. It was still after my bedtime. And it wasn't even starting until then, right? So I had to get my mind right, because this couple, I really like them. Mm-hmm. They are great people, mm-hmm. right? And so when they invited us, I was excited, because to me, it's always an honor when someone else chooses to share time with you.
Yes.
And especially this couple, because they're the bomb. Mm-hmm. So we got that, opportunity, and we were going. Well, before that, though, you watched Love Jones that afternoon.
I was trying to get in the mood and the spirit, right? Get my mind right.
And then you were playing Love Jones on the road as we were the soundtrack.
Which is the bomb.
So what letter grade is that?
The soundtrack?
Yeah.
Gets an A+.
Oh, yeah, exactly. So then I'm like, oh, man, I should have drank me a Red Bull or something.
You did.
As we were heading out. But you know what? I got there. The energy was amazing. Mm-hmm. We found great parking. Because if you don't know, going downtown Denver anytime, day or night, can be hard to find parking. So we found great parking. We get inside, they're there. They have amazing seats. I'm like, front row, we can see the band. We can get to the dance floor. It was amazing seats, right? And the place starts to fill up, and I'm waiting because I'm ready.
What you waiting for?
I'm ready to hear some spoken word, some jazz, some something. And it actually didn't start exactly on time,
It did start on time.
Did it?
No, see, and that's the thing.
Oh, I didn't realize it.
Yeah.
Nobody was speaking words to me.
So here's the thing. I think that we, along with the couple that we went with, we all had a different expectation of what was supposed to happen.
Okay.
We thought we were going to hear, like I said, live music and spoken word. Well, that's not what this was. This was like a club setting. And so, yes, the first live performer came on after 9 o'clock. But if you remember, they started spinning records, whatever DJs do in 2020.
I don't think they spin records, but
pushing buttons on the computer, whatever they do. They started doing that right around 9 o'clock. It started to transition from like a restaurant into the lounge club atmosphere.
And but the DJ was smooth.
DJ was good.
What's his name?
Big Styles, I think.
I thought it was Skills.
No, I'm pretty sure it was Big Styles.
Well, Big Styles, I'm gonna give you a shout out because you deserve it. You was cool. Besides the fact, don't take this personal, that you was old enough to be my daddy.
He wasn't that old, but he was older.
It threw me off.
He was spinning records back in the day.
But he was legit. So if you're looking for a good DJ, he's probably the guy if you can afford him because he's probably not cheap. So we hung out all night, had a great time. Like we said in the beginning, though, remember, it didn't even start till 9 p.m. So by the time we got home, it was what?
1:30 in the morning.
1:30.
The next day.
Yes, it was. And so this was what, Thursday? See, I'm still like sleep deprived. So I'm still trying to figure out what day that was.
It was Thursday.
So that was Thursday. Then, had to get up and go to work on Friday because I got to pay the bills.
Still got to get up.
The kids needed to, they had things they needed from us, etc. So we had to make Friday get up and make it happen. Oh, but before we left for the concert, our oldest got sick.
Oh,
man,
yes.
that messed up kind of because it just threw me off because I was dressed, y'all.
Well, because I don't like interruptions. Like, you're not good at... I don't like
interruptions. Like how you just interrupted me. And I don't like throw up at all. Oh. Who does? But, oh my God, my baby, it was like that projectile stuff. And it was all over the carpet.
It was everywhere.
We had to clean up everything and make sure before we left that she was really good. Because, even though we have older children, we still got to make sure our babies are good. But anyway, so by the time we get home, get to bed, it's tomorrow. We start Friday, and the whole time, I'm not gonna lie to you, all I could think about was, oh my God, we are going out again tonight.
All day long.
And I dreaded it because I didn't want to go out, but I didn't dread the people we were hanging out with because this is another phenomenal couple that both these couples are well known, they get it in. Mm-hmm. So it was, again, a very big honor. And to me, it was not only did you ask me to hang out with you, but you asked me to hang out with you on Valentine's night.
That's right.
This is that night people set aside for they boo thing, right?
Yep.
And you saying we can hang out with y'all?
We got invited to this event at the beginning of January. So there was no way that we could renege or back out or anything like that. Not that we wanted to, but we got invited and it was a church event. So of course I'm like, oh, we going to church on my birthday eve. And I wasn't feeling it. I wasn't feeling, how church events with the chicken dinners and the pastor gets up preaching and, and I just wasn't feeling it. And I was tired from Thursday. We get up into this place. These folks is dressed to the nines. Okay.
How on Easter people come in legit?
They were dressed to the nines.
I was glad I at least put it on the suit.
Yeah. I'm glad I wore what I wore too. It was such a good event.
It was.
Oh my gosh. It was nothing like what I expected it to be. It had multiple guest pastors and speakers, and it wasn't really churchy.
No, look.
Y'all know what I mean when I say churchy.
Boy, look, that pastor made me be like, I could almost go to your church.
Well, and the sad thing is, because here's the sad thing, but also the good thing, sad but good. is that the program was so good. There were so many good nuggets. Like, it was designed specifically to help and encourage married people and those that want to be married. And people were dropping gems. Folks that been married for 30 and 40 and 50 years got up and shared their experiences, their raw, true stories.
Realness. It sounded like Naked Proverbs.
It did.
On steroids.
It was on steroids, and in the church setting with no cussing.
Yeah, because my wife likes to cuss. I realized that last episode. But anyway.
Well, you knew that about me before you married me now. I cuss way less than I did back then. But the sad thing is, right? So that was the good thing. The sad thing is, the only thing that I can remember what was said from the events on Friday night, on Valentine's night, is the wood is good.
Now,
that's what the pastor said.
I was saying, now let me.
And he was literally, yes, he was talking about wood.
Because it wasn't just anybody. But let me explain what he was talking about. Because to me, I found myself, first of all, as much as people believe that I love to go to events like this, I don't like to be the guy that doesn't know anybody in the room. Because that's just not in certain events. And especially when it's like, quote unquote, churchy events. Because I'm just not that guy. I grew up in the church, and I don't want to say I've distanced myself, but I've put some space in between me and super religious people, because I'm a very spiritual man, but I'm not a big religious man, right? So, like Nik said, there was that, this is going to be interesting. And so for me, when I got there, her and her friend hooked up, of course, because they like two peas in a pod. And her husband was working. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to just go be me. And they had this icebreaker where you had to go find somebody that had the same things. So something like has the same wedding month as you, or same number of children as you. So it was all based around marriage and your relationship. So I just started meeting people, and it helped me, because I kind of broke down that, oh my God, this is going to be religious. And I really started to have some fun, and the people were so cool, and the wood is good. Let me tell you about the wood is good.
The wood is good.
So what happened was they were actually spitting some fat knowledge. At one point we looked, because they talked about the importance of sex in a marriage.
And regular sex. And we talked about that last week. It was so...
Exactly. And literally, Nik looks at me and says, that's what we just talked about on Naked Proverbs.
Saying the same thing that we said.
And for me, it made me feel good, because when you have people that have been married for 40,
double the time,
50 years... getting up saying things that I know we have said on this podcast, it just made me say, hey, we doing the right thing.
Yep.
But let's get back to the wood is good, right?
Because it's good.
Because it's good. We even toasted to it at one point, I'm pretty sure.
We did. Because
I said it. I got that. We talking, it's 80 plus people in the room.
The whole room.
The wood is good. So what the pastor and wife were actually talking about were the three little pigs.
Yep.
Now, I know y'all did not expect me to say that, did you?
Yeah.
They were talking about building your marriage and preparing for the big bad wolf that can come, the storms and the wind, and talking about how when you don't build your marriage well, that if you're like that first pig, they said he built it of straw, and how the winds came, blew it down, so that was signifying your marriage, right? The second one, and this is where the pastor was like, the wood, because his wife, she was a great balance to him.
Yeah.
And she was like, the second one built his house around wood. And he's like, the wood is good.
And it was a room full of married folks, so we just took it a whole different direction.
Everybody, you say talk about the wood, right? We ain't talking about the wood. We talking about the wood. But you know what he said? The wood is good, but it ain't good enough. Mm-hmm. It ain't all you need. So you can't just take a portion of the message and be good with it, right? You got to listen to the whole thing. So then ultimately they talked about that final house that was built with brick, and mortar, and it takes time to build a house with brick and mortar.
Yep.
And how that house you know, the fire could come, the wind can come, the rain can come, and that marriage will last. And I think that was just great. Even though everybody took the wood is good, ultimately remember it's not good enough. So just because you giving great, what I like to say, baby,
the dick.
Just because you giving great dick, understand that's not good enough to keep a marriage going strong. It's good enough to keep some smiles on her face, in your face, but you know, it's not what really makes a marriage a marriage.
Right. So that was Valentine's Day night, and we didn't stay out quite as late. In fact, we left early, but when we left, they were on the dance floor doing one of them.
The limbo. No, they was doing the Cupid Shuffle.
Oh, it was the Cupid Shuffle. I was getting ready to say Cha-Cha Slide.
They had just finished the limbo.
Yep, they did the limbo. So
tell y'all, this thing was live.
It was lit.
I loved it.
It was lit.
I would go back.
It was lit. It was a beautiful occasion, and it was beautiful to see all of the couples that were there, because the majority of the people went to the church. So they kind of knew what to expect, and they knew that this was like an opportunity to build their marriage. We had no idea we were going to like a mini retreat, because that's ultimately what it was. Yep. We played games, we worked together to solve riddles. Like, it was such a good occasion. It's almost like I wish we could have had the video camera and audio so we could have streamed live onto Naked Proverbs.
You know what we're gonna have to do? We're gonna have to hire us a video person just to follow us. Because real talk, this week, previous week, I guess now, we had some amazing conversations that have sparked potential topics in the future.
Yeah, we did.
Like, just sitting there, just talking about things. And I think that maybe we just need to hire somebody, almost do like, what is that show where people used to live in your house and just follow you?
Real World?
Yeah, we could just do Real World. So let's just post cameras all over our house and always record everything we're doing.
Yeah, no.
Oh, okay.
that one, no.
Okay. Never mind.
No, but seriously, I think that this weekend really showed the importance of connecting, not as a couple together, but connecting with other married couples. And I've said it before on this podcast, how important it is to have marriage mentors, because we have mentors in every other area of our lives, right? And the couple we went with, both the couples on Thursday and Friday, they're both married fewer years than us. However, being around them and seeing the love that they have for each other, still, they've both been married for more than 10 years, and they have children and, you know,
lives and all those things that cause people's marriages to slow down. But they're not allowing that to happen.
Nope.
And, you know, I have to totally agree with what you're saying.
So it's important, yes, to connect, you know, with the wood, because it's good. And make sure that you as a married couple are keeping that flame going, like we talked about a few weeks ago. But it's also important to be in the midst of other happy couples. And there was a room full on Friday night. And even if they weren't happy, we've talked about this too, about how important it is to take those steps to make sure that things are going in the right direction. And if they're not, to get them back on track to go in the right direction. And so then, of course, Saturday comes around and I'm still sleepy from Thursday, because we stayed out Thursday, we stayed out Friday, and we had to get up early. You had an event to do for work,
I had
which
work
was successful.
Stuff. It was great.
And then we went out again.
Because you know what yesterday was? It was somebody's birthday. So we had to celebrate life. And I'm not going to lie, I woke everybody up. I woke up the kids. I woke up the birthday girl. I woke up the dogs, because I was excited. Like, not only because now the person sitting next to me is as old as me, which is important.
I will never be as old as you. You were born a whole year before me.
If somebody asks you how old you are, what you gonna say? You're gonna be like them mamas that be like, my child is 36 months old.
Exactly.
Yeah. No. So you gonna say your age.
So while
and then when I say my age,
are the same,
they're gonna be like,
right now,
oh wow.
No.
Then I mean, because I'm be real with y'all. Sometimes it's frustrating when people act like my wife is one of the kids, and I just look like they old father, I guess. Like, that get old.
No, nobody has ever called you our daddy.
What? You said you ain't ever called me daddy?
I call you daddy all the time. I said nobody has ever said that. They say that me and the girls are sisters. That doesn't automatically mean that you're the dad. You could be like the big cousin or something. Uncle.
Did you see even hear how stupid that sounded? So anyway, so then it was like, we had a work event, and I mean, because you were working too, and then we had a little recovery time. Then it was like we had to hit them streets again.
Yeah, because our nephew.
To hit them streets again because our nephew,
who's awesome, amazing, and brilliant.
Oh, man, he's a genius,
Black
y'all.
boy.
Like, I'm telling you, he would give Einstein a run for his money.
Yes.
Like, he's for real that kind of a genius.
And he's smart enough to know how important theater arts is to his well-being and his well-roundedness as an individual and a Black man.
Yep.
And so he is working on the crew for a play at his school.
Yep.
And so we went to go see the musical. I love musicals.
I love him. That's my boy. I mean, as y'all know, I have no sons. And so his mom is like my sister.
Yep.
I've known her as long as I've known my wife, literally. I met them probably the same day.
You probably
and so, he's like my little son in some ways. He listens to me and I mentor him, and, we go to lunch sometimes, and that's my buddy. And so he invited me. So I was like, hey, you know what? That's your auntie's birthday, but we going to be there, dog. So
definitely
that took up our evening on Saturday.
That's Saturday. And then today we have
another great married couple.
Yes, another great married couple.
It's like they are my goals.
In every aspect of life.
I have two sets of friends here that are like my goals. One we spent Christmas with.
Who did we spend Christmas with?
You don't know who we spent Christmas with? Whose house we went to and had barbecue chicken?
Oh,
exactly.
Okay.
So that's one of my
Christmas
goals.
I'm sorry.
I know. Especially after we had the weekend we've had.
Yeah.
But this other set that we get to see later today, oh, man, I can't even put into words.
They're amazing.
They are amazing.
They're amazing.
Just, that's all I can say, right? So that's going to kind of wrap up this long weekend of love where we did everything from have a Love Jones experience to talking about roll over.
Oh, yeah.
Let me give you the wood. To seeing a play together to ultimately wishing our friend a happy birthday.